purpose, I mean, if you don't have a purpose, then it is not a possibility to experience joy.
Ultimately, our purpose is to know ourselves. And if we can know that, then we can know God, know everything.
We are the key that unlocks everything.
Healing is accepting who and what you are.
Anything is possible within the realms of walking a path of magic.
With this, you stop living this one-dimensional reality where everything's so hard and go to work and all this. And with magic, you become a multidimensional entity. You start seeing the options of how to live life. So magic transforms everything.
And what is magic but that which causes change that your mind won't accept?
To find it, I had to reach outside the comfort zone. I had to search into the unknown, into what was less familiar, because I had to go find it.
And many come to the modern mystery school, if not everybody, to seek. Either they are aware of what they are seeking or not, they're seeking.
The transformation is enormous. The healing, it's huge. It's absolutely huge.
And even if you don't know what your personal interest is at this moment in time, as you start embarking on this path of getting to know thyself, everything starts unfolding.
Every step of the way, we experience this transformation, this alchemy, starting with the life activation.
What is possible is living your true purpose, living your divine blueprint, living a life that you are 100% happy with. Modern Mystery School is a school of magic. We study how to be metaphysicians, and we're learning how to live life in the physical to its greatest and fullest potential.
A mystery school is a place where you can go and find out more about yourself and who you are and about the universe. There are things that we know, there are things we don't know, and there are things that we don't know that we don't know. I think that a mystery school is a perfect place for you to be able to find the things that you don't know.
When people come to the Modern Mystery School, they come from many walks of life, and they come in with different things that they're dealing with in their life, different challenges. But one of the common characteristics that we often see is, an increase in joy that happens within people in their life, a sense of belonging, a sense of community, a sense of I can be accepted for who I am exactly as I am without having to hide anything. I get to really be and express my true self.
What I love about Mystery School is that it's all over the place. It's in every country that I could possibly think of and list. And that means that there are many individuals sharing these tools and teachings. It's not just one place that you come to learn. You're working with different teachers, you're working with different healers, and in getting to experience it in different countries, in different ways. And that's something that is quite special.
I'm Lisa Rossi. I'm from Brazil. I'm the CEO of the Modern Mystery School South America, and I'm one of the leaders of Healers Academy, and I travel alongside Kate.
I'm Kate Bartram-Brown, and I am the head of the Modern Mystery School in the UK EU, so I live in London, and I get the honour of teaching Healers Academy all over the world with Lisa. So I was born in the middle of England, in a place called Staffordshire. I have lived in Spain, I've lived in Australia, I've lived in the Middle East, I've lived in the Bahamas, I've worked in the United States all over, I've trained in Japan, in Canada, I've taught in Norway, I've taught in France. I've noticed that all people want to have peace. That's a really big one for me, is living in peace. Because I didn't have peace in my soul, in my spirit, in my being before I received the life activation and received the initiation. Everything was a battle. My mind, it was a war zone. My body was battling against itself, and I was very sick. I had an illness, and one of the things that I knew that was missing was joy. I had a very successful business before I came to the mystery school. I had money, had car, had husband, I had the whole shebang. But I knew I could be better. I knew I could be greater. I knew that there was more out there for me to know about myself. And in doing that, I knew that I could reach places that I couldn't quite reach on my own. So for me, walking the path, receiving the life activation, the initiation, is helping you to reach those places that you can't simply reach from where you are right now.
I'm from Brazil. I took the mystery school to Brazil 15 years ago. And today I'm the CEO of the Modern Mystery School South America. I was living in Los Angeles. I got invited to go to an astrology lecture. And I'm not into astrology, can I say that? and at the time I was doing my master's degree, and I was really busy writing my thesis, my final thesis. And I got invited to this lecture, and I didn't really want to go, but it's like, okay, let's go. And I loved it. So I did in Paradise South, and the rest is history.
You know, Empower Thyself is a 2-day workshop where people can come to learn more about the mysteries that we teach about in the mystery school, to give you that tool of transformation to reach to your highest self. There are many tools. The life activation is just the first step. There is so much on this path, whether you choose the healer path, whether you choose the warrior path, whether you choose the path of Kabbalah, alchemy, whatever your personal interest is, and even if you don't know what your personal interest is at this moment in time, as you start embarking on this path of getting to know thyself, everything starts unfolding.
Everything happened very naturally for me, and I moved to the US very, very young. I was 22 at the time. And when you come to a new country, you don't know, like, okay, what I'm gonna look for, where do I look for? When I got invited to this lecture in astrology, I really found, okay, I found what I was looking for. There was no dogma, there was no, you have to believe in this. But it wasn't planned, because it wasn't like, okay, so I did my Paradise Self, I did my first initiation, and I just felt I wanted more. I want the next step. But I didn't even know I was going to receive a wand, or I was going to learn how to do a modality when I went to Healers Academy. It wasn't planned that, oh, I want to become a healer, I want to start teaching, I just knew I wanted the next step, whatever there was. And I never planned to start teaching and become a guide and become, oh, I'm going to now become the CEO of the Modern Mystery School South America.
That's the beauty and the magic of the mystery school path, is that we start walking the path and realize we have many purposes, and we get to do many different things.
When you're living your purpose, you are living everything that you are. You're expressing your spirit, you're expressing your godhood, you're expressing you're connected, you're one with God. So God and Spirit is awakened when you live your purpose. You're one, you understand what God is. You understand you are God when you're truly living your purpose.
We are a being of light, and we're alive, and we're made up of DNA. We have physical DNA, we have spiritual DNA. And depending on who we are in our structure and how we have lived, we will have different levels of that awareness of the light moving within us. The life activation comes in and it turns it all on. So that after we receive the life activation, we actually have the system in alignment and in flow. The life activation gives us a fertile ground upon which we can then receive all things. And when we receive the activation, everything is put into the right alignment and the right flow so that it can stay at the highest frequency, the highest vibration. If they're not turned on, then no matter what my mind hears, I'm not going to be able to embrace it. No matter what I do, I'm not going to get the ahas. So life activation prepares me for all that is going to come.
So DNA is both spiritual and it's physical. You can access both because you are a physical being and you are a spiritual being. As far as DNA is concerned, it's really who you are. DNA is something that's not necessarily permanent. That's it. You have that DNA and you can't change it. In the mystery school, we believe that we can change our DNA and we can, basically the way I like to look at it is we can go back to the original program, or you tap into that with the life activation and you put in different input, and because of that, then it will now come out a different output. And it's a basic concept, but we seem to always want to just fix the physical. Everybody's just trying to arrange the things that they want them to be in, when we really need to go back to the DNA, back to the archetype.
So when I first heard about the DNA activation and we went online to research, and I was like, oh, DNA activation, I was like, are you crazy? I wouldn't let anybody mess with your DNA. I do not do that because that's gonna mess up with your DNA. Don't do it. I was like, when I first heard about DNA activation, I was like, I don't know about that. I don't know. Because it's who we are. When we receive the life activation, we are awakening up our blueprint. And when we are awakening our blueprint, when we're talking about the DNA, you are awakening your plan, your life plan. And it's so magical because when I received my life activation, I didn't know, I didn't feel anything. I didn't know exactly what was a life activation. But at that moment, I was doing my master's and I was writing my thesis in architecture. And for a moment, in the end of my life activation, I thought, oh my God, am I gonna have to choose between being an architect or follow this path? Because something so deep inside of me resonated with when I received my life activation. But it was never like I had to choose. It unfolded in a very natural way. I never had to like, oh no, yes, I'm not an architect anymore. But it wasn't like a hard choice that I had to make. It just happened.
I didn't realize it straight away. I didn't understand that. I didn't have that understanding right away, but something inside of me said, keep going, keep serving. And this joy started to come in, and that's because it was giving me purpose and I could see other people grow. And there is nothing better than serving.
And when you receive a life activation, something within you are awakened, which is who you truly are. And that sets you in a path of starting to live your true purpose and awakening your gifts, and you start living what you came here to live. And the life activation is the first step to, it's magic for you to start living your purpose.
So in ancient history, throughout time, we have used terminology like magic and wands and energy structure. But in the modern day world, we don't use them so much. And each of them are representative of things that we have in our everyday life. So for example, magic really represents something that works outside of logic. A wand is a tool that we would use to create change or transformation in someone. Magic is the process of creating change.
We like to look at the problems of humanity through the lens of so much of science. And the problem is a science problem. We don't understand a science, or we do understand a science, and therefore the results are a negative thing is going to happen. But I would challenge that belief and say a lot of our problems are the fact that we don't understand magic, and we need more magic. If you have a magical problem, you need a magical solution, not a scientific solution. I know that sounds very strange to people, but we need more magic. And what is magic but that which causes change that your mind won't accept? So, you do something, it changed something, it doesn't make sense to science, and your mind argues. So the only box you can put it in is you say, it's magic. But then you have to accept the magic exists, otherwise you end up with the struggle inside the mind that couldn't have happened, that didn't happen. So we could also say magic is science not understood. But we need to understand that the science we're studying, which we call magic, involves a lot more than just a ruler and some measuring sticks to figure out how something works. It's something greater, and so much of what holds the fabric of the world together for us is magic. And that's why our science can get us so far, but then we struggle because we're not willing to let the magic come in so it can do what it needs to do magically so that we can actually solve the problem.
So, magic is to create certain thing, and we are vibrate in certain frequency. And the magic, which is a mystery school, teaches how to raise the vibration so that 8 billion people can benefit. This is the actual how to attain world peace. Like, unfortunately, we human learn how to not to attain peace. It's the same thing. And here comes in the ancient teaching, provide you how to do it.
The transformation. It's amazing to watch people come through our doors, receive this life activation, and then seeing them as months go by, 2 years go by, 3 years go by, and they almost become a completely different human being. They look different from how they looked the first day when they walked in to the Modern Mystery School. And it's not about changing their hair color. It's not about the clothes that they wear. Yes, that eventually becomes part of it. It's their energy. It is the way they hold themselves. And the transformation that the life activation brings to them is enormous, because that life activation helps them remember who they are. And this life activation gives them that first step of change to transform themselves. What change does the path bring us? That's where you see the alchemical process happening. Initiation is what gives us that transformation. It allows us to take who we are and be better.
It can't just be one thing that heals us. It doesn't work like that. It's a path, it's a journey. It's not a destination. We don't just have one thing and then ta-da, it's all, all wonderful. No, it's a path. We reach these stages in our life where we go, okay, this is what I need to receive right now. And we receive it, we use it, we utilize it. And then when we're ready, we go on to the next part. Remember, we are eternal, unlimited spiritual beings. So we have many different ways in which we can heal and grow. So this is the point of keep walking a path of progression.
I'm an indigo, and I always wanted to do something. I want to be different. When I came into the path, and I thought well, everybody needs to do Empower Thyself. Everybody needs to go to Healers Academy. Everybody needs to go to RM1 and RM2, but we are all different. How can we all go to the same classes? That's so boring. and in my mind, in the beginning, I didn't understand, because it needed to, in my mind, you needed to have different classes for different purposes, because if we all have a different gift, if we all are different beings, how are we all going to the same classes? When you start walking the path, you realize that it's an individual path. Even though you're going to Healers Academy, you're going to Ritual Master 1, you're going to Ritual Master 2, your path of progression is 100% individual. And the way you grow and progress and discover who you are it's in a completely different way than the person that it's next to you. And your growth, your lessons, what you're learning, what you have to overcome, what you have to do to become who you are, it's completely different. So now I understand that even though we are doing the same classes and the same path, we are awakening completely different beings in this tapestry of the world.
Yeah, that's the magic, isn't it? That's the magic of it being universal, though, isn't it? You know, so when it's a universal tools, it's for everybody. And King Solomon made sure that all of these modalities, all of these sessions, these tools, whatever you want to call them, rituals, worked for everybody. And it would work with the person from where they are, and so that they can grow and reach their full potential. So there again is the magic, isn't it? That's the magic of the lineage, because everything works for that individual so that they can reach their piece of the puzzle, that they understand that they are God. And in doing that, they fulfill their purpose, they have joy, and all the rest of the things that we think about as humans, but it's much bigger than that, isn't it? Because we're eternal beings.
The way the magic works is amazing. You are awakening your plan, your life plan. You came here to be and plan this life. And actually, you start awakening this plan and you start living it, right? And you're director of your own life. So you can change the plan. You can explore different things. You can now explore this corner here. And we are we talk about we are multidimensional beings. And when you start living it, you understand, because I don't need to choose one thing. I don't need to choose one purpose. I don't need to choose one room to explore. And that's the best, isn't it? Because I don't want to explore just one room. I want to explore all the rooms. I want to explore everything that I am. And I want to venture in so many different areas and interact with different people and be all that I am with awakening this plan. We talk about we are multidimensional beings, and that for me is that I don't need to choose one thing to be. Oh, I'm an architect and that's it, and then I go to school and I graduate in architecture and that's it. And I can be so many different things in life. And when we walk this path, we start discovering all these different facets that we are. We start living, not only discovering, but living these different facets. And we start expanding to all that we are through living it.
Yeah, I mean, multidimensional being, again, you know, when we talk about that in the outside world, people are like, what's that? You know, we've all seen the Marvel movies and, you know, superhero movies and such like, but it really is like that. Being a multidimensional being is, you can do superhuman things. I mean, my life, if I, you know, explain to people what I do in my life and all the things that I do and in the time that I have, people would probably think I was stretching the truth somewhat, but it's true. And when I first came to the mystery school, that's something that I was very intrigued by, because Founder Goodney listed all the things that he'd done in his life, all the things that he'd achieved. And, you know, the cynical people sat there and went, oh, he's, you know, that's a tall story. But I sat there and went, how do you do it? How do you do that? Because I know it can be done. And he explained what he did, which was follow the path, initiate, get initiated, serve, do Kabbalah, do your ritual master, all the things that we talk about. And that helps us to achieve a multidimensional life. And you get to choose. You get to choose how that looks. And that's the exciting part. So for me, it was always about the magic. This path has always been about the magic. I wanted to know where the magic was. I've been searching for it for my whole life, and being multidimensional is certainly one of the aspects of magic that I love.
The question would be, why would you need a path? The answer is simple. You do if you need it, and if you don't, you don't. But we will only ever rise to the level of our understanding and capability. And then we need something else to take us past that. And when it comes to progression, it's almost always our ego that's going to stop us. So if we don't have a path, if we don't have a way in a system that can demand more of us than our ego is willing to give, we can't grow. We will not progress. You will only rise to your predispositions and beliefs about life, and you won't go past it. So the path, it tells us when we are hitting our blocks with our ego and where we need to overcome that block. And that's often challenging. Those moments are challenging. But if you don't have a system that demands more of you than your ego is willing to give, you're condemned to stagnation, if not regression. You will not grow. And so, to me, everyone needs the path. And the path has to have knowledge, understanding, and demand more than what we have within ourselves, so that we are required to exceed past the ego and to do better than what we did yesterday.
And perhaps we could say, okay, we don't need the path. You can do this on your own. But that's not been the case. In the history of humans, they have failed. So the path has always shown, and those people who've been on the path, I mean, we have so many, amazing, Pythagoras, Leonardo, I mean, there's a whole list of amazing people who went on the path and showed this excellence. And because the path, again, like we were saying earlier, that the path gives us restrictions and forms this way, and this way yields results. We have a proven track record of that. So yeah, we need the path. Now the self-confidence and self-love, yeah, you can get it without it, but you get it stronger and faster on the path.
Most people live life meaningless. And if you want a meaningless life, just do meaningless things and you'll have a meaningless life. Just do things for the moment, don't care about what it means, just live a meaningless life. When you live a life with purpose, it changes everything about your actions, your thoughts, your feelings, where you're going, what you're trying to do. And that purpose should be aligned with the thing that brings you joy. And it's without understanding this, without moving in a purposeful life towards joy, then you will feel like you have a meaningless life and you end up in sort of a nihilistic state. And so many people are walking around because they're not moving towards joy. They end up just directing their life towards meaningless pursuits. And they end up doing things, reaching for the thing that gives them a momentary reprieve from the pain of what life has become. Because a meaningless life is a painful life. So no matter what we want to shape purpose as, purpose is a necessary thing to have to be able to really express our joy, because the purpose is the expression of that joy.
There's so many people out there that are struggling to find their purpose. Look at how we get brought up. Look at the schools we go to, the way that we've been parented, the governments, all these different types of things are programming us to really find success in a certain way, to find joy in a certain way, what they would call happiness. And there's no reference point for us to find what we truly are, the essence of us, the light, the blueprint that we've been talking about so much, seeking that out. And lots of people know that it's out there, but it's really difficult to find. When you're trying to fight your way through everyday life, we kind of push these things to the back of, oh, our purpose, oh, that's just something, that other people do. And so it's not the priority in most people's life because they're not brought up around initiates, or they're not brought up around, people that have walked the path. But, that's why we're here to change it. That's why we're here to, shout from the rooftops, hey, find your purpose, and that will lead you to more joy than you could ever imagine.
I think I'm gonna go back to the purpose being bigger than yourself. Out there, a lot of people think that when they get that much money, they're gonna have their purpose fulfilled, or when they build this business, or when they get whatever it is that it's either money or power, and they maybe don't think that purpose is something that it's beyond ourselves. And when they start coming to the path and experiencing what service really means, and they start living, serving others, they're going to find the true purpose. Because in the mystery school we say it's all of us or none of us, and we can only get our part of discovering who we are and discovering our purpose by serving others. It's not when we do for ourselves, it's not when we receive healings that we're going to find our purpose. It's when we do the healings, it's when we teach, it's when we share light. Because as we share our light, we receive more light. And then we get clarity about who we are, and we get clarity about our purpose. So it is about sharing the light. It's about doing for others. It's about serving others. And as we serve others, we will get clarity about ourselves.
Well, all paths agree. Doesn't matter what path you choose. Doesn't matter what path you choose. The only way to enlightenment is to serve another. So we're not the only ones saying that. It doesn't matter where you go and study. If you're not serving another person, then you're not getting to know yourself as God. Because the only way we can do that is help another person understand that they are God.
I am God. And I am God means that I come from a divine spark. I am an eternal being. I have never been born. I can never die.
The interesting thing about service is that we try to talk about in class, and all the classes actually, right? Because this is the key to knowing thyself. But the thing is that you're not going to know until you experience it. It's one of those things that you can't explain the theory, like what is service. Yes, we can say a definition here, but you're not going to know. And that's what I love about the mystery school, because you learn through experience. You learn the concepts, you receive the knowledge, but you integrate through living it. So service is the same thing. We can talk about it all day long and have a definition, a beautiful definition, but until you start serving, until you have that feedback of what that life activation did for your client, or until you see the transformations that it's bringing to someone's life, you're not going to have the understanding of it. I never planned to become teachers of Healers Academy. We start serving the panel, and today we lead Healers Academy. But every time I'm inside a temple space, every time I'm teaching Healers Academy, I'm so grateful for the opportunity to be a witness of so much transformation that happens that week with each and every one that is inside that room. So much healing, so much insights. They're starting to realize that yes, it's possible to build this world of peace one by one with this one tool that we're receiving this week.
Because in something like Healers Academy, they become life activation practitioners with the capability to bring that light in for another human being. Where we're all so busy, but when someone takes the time to take themselves out of their busy lives and to come to a program where they are ready to down tools and to become solely present to what they can discover about themselves, and they can discover about the teachings, and they can discover about the healings, that is an opportunity that is unmatched.
Even if they came for themselves, when they go out with the tool of life activation and when they start serving others with the life activation, the purpose that they find in their lives of helping other people and seeing the transformation that the tool can bring to the lives of so many other people is nothing can substitute.
We offer international programs in the Modern Mystery School, and we prepare the seat. And that person, no matter where they live, they can be in Australia, they can be in the Middle East, they can be in Europe, Africa, they feel, they sense, their inner being, their higher self says, I want more. And they come through the door, and sometimes I wonder, wow, I'd love to hear everybody's story. But when we open the class, you can feel the energy and everyone's kind of saying, what am I actually doing here? Because it takes a lot to get yourself out of your home to the other side of the world. And it's a very different journey when you're doing it with spiritual awakening. I use the analogy sometimes. In the olden days, people would have gone to the mountaintop and they would have sat and they would have contemplated and they would have integrated. The magic of our lineage being open to the public is that you don't have to go off to the mountaintop. You can come to a conference room, to an international program, and you're able to receive teachings. Keys in your awareness are unlocked. Handing downs happen, and you can get back on the plane and go home and integrate that into your life. So because Modern Mystery School is an open school to the public, our lineage is available to everybody, because you don't have to isolate yourself from your family to go climb in the mountains.
So the mystery school, the Modern Mystery School, has a path laid out, and this path has been laid out for thousands and thousands of years of people that have found that mountaintop, people that have got to the top of that place, and they've come down from the mountaintop and said, hey, this is the way to do it. It's over here. If you just follow this path, you also can get there. You can have all the abundance that you want and all the joy that you want, but this is the way.
So what ultimately set me on my path was that feeling that something was missing. And I needed to find that, because whatever that thing was that was missing was the key to deeper meaning, deeper purpose, deeper joy and well-being. And to find it, I had to reach outside the comfort zone. I had to search into the unknown, into what was less familiar, because I had to go find it. And ultimately, that thing that was missing was the growth. It was the deeper connection with the self. It was that sense of what am I uniquely here for, and why am I doing what I'm doing? So putting us on a path to be able to fulfill our greater purpose and potential.
The thing is this, though. You cannot just seek. You have to go into action. You have to take that step and put your mind into motion. Put your actions to your desire. And then you will reach great heights. We are here for you.
Transformation doesn't stop, because as long as you keep moving, as long as you want to change, as long as you want to take that yourself, in this case, and become better, and then becoming better again, the transformation is forever going.
We're these unlimited beings. We're spiritual beings having this physical experience. We're an eternal being. We've never been born and we will never die. And so we get to understand that in a physical form when we start with the life activation. And again, it reveals itself time and time and time again. It will last for a whole lifetime and beyond. So for me, I'm a little bit of an adventurer. The life activation is the ultimate adventure because you get to take this journey to discover the real you.